Hello sisters. So this is a tortilla recipe that I promised you. I'll show you the recipe right now so you can get a screenshot of it. So it says tortillas, 3 cups of flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/3 cup shortening or oil, 1 cup hot water, and this recipe yields 12 to 16 tortillas depending on how big you make them. So I'll get started. Okay, so you also need a rolling pin, a cutting board, or if you want to use your table or countertop to roll them out on, and something hot, whether it's a griddle or a cast iron pan, something hot, but you don't want it the flame on high, you want it on medium, so because you don't want them to burn. But if they're cooking kind of slow, you can turn up the heat a little bit. Okay, so we have the flour here, the 3 cups of flour, put that in, and then you put in your 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 1 teaspoon of salt, and then your 1/3 cup of shortening. You can use oil. I've used it before. I've even used butter, and of course it comes out a little different, but overall basically the same. Okay, so you have that, and then you use your fork to mix it all together. The real Mexicans use their hands. I guess I'm not real. I'm Tex-Mex. So use your fork and you smash it all in there. You smash the shortening in there. And you want it to be, just mixed well. Because you're going to put hot water and it's going to melt the shortening anyway. So you just kind of smash it all together. Eventually you have to use your hands, but at this point, I just use a fork. I think that's much easier to me. Okay, so looks like it's all pretty much smashed up. Okay. You're gonna use your fork initially when you mix in the hot water. So you get a cup and you put in your hot water. My mom would boil the water and then let it sit for a minute or two, but that's kind of hot to me. So here's a cup of hot water. You put that in, and then you mix this around. Until you can't anymore, and then your hands go in. Okay, so I'll do that, and then you start to mix it, and it kind of comes together. It doesn't look like it initially, it looks kind of dry, but just keep mixing, please, and it'll start to come together. It is pretty hot. If you use boiling water, that would burn your hands. You don't want to use that. Sometimes I put a little extra water if it's a little bit too dry, but it's coming together. Just keep kneading it in the bowl. So see, it's starting to come together like this. Keep kneading it for a little bit. Okay. It's all together. All right, so I'm gonna leave it in the bowl. I'm gonna cover it with a towel and leave it for about a good 10 minutes and let it rest. You can leave it up to 30 if you like. It's gonna rise a little bit because of the baking powder. Get a towel and cover it up, and then we're gonna leave it for a good 10 minutes or so, and then we'll make the balls and then we'll roll them out. How do you pause this? There's no pausing.